Today, Anne is joining us, our quality assurance analyst, to talk about the webinar we just had. So, Anne, can you give us a really quick elevator pitch? What was the webinar about, and why should people attend?
Well, we really just talked about what an AI policy is, why it's important, and how really easy it is to document and implement. It really just puts the bumpers on where you're going with using AI in your environment and being able to document and push it out to your team.
Perfect. So, on that note of pushing it out to your team, the webinar kind of covers how to create that policy. So now that I have this policy, do you have any advice about coming to your staff and not making it feel like a crackdown?
Well, and I, of course, am pushing these, so it seems a little easy for me, but we even at CIT, we pushed it like we would any new policy. I would recommend doing that in the same way you're going to do any sort of change in your environment or where you want to educate about a certain environment, policy, anything like that. Um, it shouldn't be any different if you can push that way. If there were change in your healthcare or something like that, and
Mhm.
you needed to communicate that to all, just the more routine that you can push this out to everyone, and I think that makes it feel less like a crackdown. It's
Mhm.
informing,
Yeah.
hopefully, and adding dialogue to say this is informing. It's not meant to be a harness. It's not meant to. It's really a guide in mitigating our risk.
Yeah, for sure. So when we're using AI tools, they are changing constantly. And so more and more of our workflows are having, you know, the human is in the loop, but it's kind of less and less. So, how might our policies change or evolve to account for less of that human in the loop?
I That's a super good question, and I think it's two parts.
Yeah.
One, it has to try as best as you can to understand what AI tools are out and what their general functionality is. A co-pilot isn't a GitHub and things like that. But the part that evolves is there, but what stays the same is that the human is ultimately responsible for the results
Mhm.
and the check your work. Don't rely entirely on a AI framework result. Ensure that you're looking at what the output is. And I think that would stay the same no matter how awesome it evolves. I'm ultimately responsible for something I'm deploying or using to aggregate data.
Mhm. Yeah. What is one thing you wished every business leader understood about AI risk before they started using AI tools?
Find the way to put the bumpers on and communicate how how this will be a thought partner, an efficiency expert, or the benefit while putting those bumpers into play first and ahead of where we're thinking. That is showing where you're accepting what risk lies out there right now, and putting in there in your policy that we know this is going to evolve. In the webinar, I did recommend at least this. You may be doing it 2 times a year for or more, depending on if there's a significant change. We all know about the different administration government-wide that has come into play while these have been deploying, but those kind of things are kind of expected, and staying ahead of that is how a leader can stay ahead of the risk.
Mhm. Definitely.
Communicate, communicate,
Yeah.
communicate. I know Kyle does a great job in that, in saying, is everyone aware of this? Is everyone aware of that? And I think CIT as a whole does a great job in trying to understand and stay ahead.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah,
all the communication.
for sure. I'm going to throw one more question at you, and I've been asking all of our people who are in this webinar series. A year from now, if you did this webinar again, what do you think would change, if anything, based on how, government compliance is changing and how AI tools and risk and all of these things a year from now, what changes in this webinar?
I think that is, and I would maybe put it into the language of the policy. It may not change
Mhm.
a ton, but building into your policy, your in that this will be constantly evolving, assign someone or a group to stay ahead of this. That's it's so hard to predict the future, but I'm so hoping that people continue to integrate this where it's available into their operation to make them more efficient. And I think we will see some definite efficiencies in a year as
Mhm.
people learn how to use their tools, but keeping that stop in mind to say, let's stop, think before we use this, and continue to evolve positively.
Love it. That feels like a great place to kind of end. If you're interested in listening to the full webinar, I will have the link below. And thanks so much, Anne, for taking time to join us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this topic, please let us know. Like, subscribe, or reach out to us at info@cit-net.com or head out to our website, cit-net.com/podcast. We'll be back next week with an all-new episode.